You know that feeling, right? You're in a conversation, you're talking, but it feels like nobody's actually listening. Like you're both just stuck, watching the whole thing spin completely out of control. Well, today, we're going to dive into a really powerful way to think about modern miscommunication. And even better, we're going to look at a toolkit to turn those super frustrating moments into, well, into real connection. And it all starts with a pretty weird phone call.
So, Harvard graduate Yurong Jiang tells this amazing story. Her friends are in Tanzania, and they're totally baffled by a washing machine with labels written only in Chinese. A classic modern problem, you know? But what happened next, over the phone, turned out to be less of a funny little story and more of a prophecy. A prophecy for how we all talk to each other now.
And here it is. This is the punchline. They ran that mysterious button through Google Translate, and this is what it came back with. Spinning ghost mode. I mean, it's perfect, right? You can't make this stuff up. That is the feeling. We've never been more connected, but it's like we're just ghosts passing right through each other, watching the machine spin and spin, feeling totally powerless to do anything about it.
So what does it actually feel like to be in spinning ghost mode? Because, let's be honest, if you're anything like me, you know this feeling all too well.
This right here, this just says it all, doesn't it? That feeling of complete helplessness. It's that knot in your stomach when a simple text chain suddenly goes sideways, or when a family dinner just explodes out of nowhere. You're there, pressing buttons, you're trying to fix it, trying to help, but it feels like the whole thing is just spinning faster and faster. And you're terrified that if you dare hit the stop button, you might just break the whole thing for good.
So why? Why does this keep happening? We have all this incredible technology that's supposed to connect us, so why do we keep getting the translation so wrong? Okay, let's dig in and see what some of the experts say or is really going on here.
And this is really the million-dollar question, isn't it? Where does it all start to go wrong? What's that very first domino that falls and sends the whole conversation into that chaotic, out-of-control spin cycle?
Okay, this slide gives us a really powerful three-part answer. First up, the linguist Deborah Tannen says we get the tone wrong. We think we're debating ideas, but what we're actually doing is reacting to these raw emotional signals. But what's hiding underneath that tone? Well, psychologist Carl Rogers would say it's fear. We aren't just hearing words, we're hearing what this conversation might cost us. And finally, Marshall Rosenberg shows how we take that fear and we channel it straight into blame, turning our own unmet needs into these harsh verdicts against the other person.
But this constant misreading, it doesn't just lead to a few bad arguments. If we let it go on, it can lead to something way, way more toxic. It can lead us to start putting labels on each other.
The philosopher Hannah Arendt had this incredible insight. She said that the very moment we label someone an enemy, something really important shifts inside us. That label, it isn't just a word, it's a permission slip. But a permission slip for what?
Permission to stop thinking. And that part, that should send a shiver down your spine. We trade our curiosity for the cheap comfort of being certain. We fall into what Arendt called a moral sleep. We're so convinced that we're right that we stop seeing the actual human being right there in front of us. And that is an incredibly dangerous place to be.
So how do you know if you're slipping into that danger zone? Well, this list is a vital gut check. And you have to ask yourself honestly, have I stopped being curious about why they think that way? Am I just repeating slogans instead of actually thinking for myself? And this one is really tough, but do I feel a little flicker of satisfaction when something bad happens to them? These are the quiet alarm bells telling us we're shifting from healthy disagreement into dangerous contempt.
Okay, that was all pretty heavy. We've diagnosed the problem, we've looked at the dangers, but here is the really good news. We are not stuck here. There is a way out of spinning ghost mode. And it starts with a few really simple, practical tools.
Think of these like 3 simple switches you can flip in the middle of a tough conversation. First, reflect before you rebut. Just by saying, okay, so what I think I'm hearing you say is, you can instantly lower the temperature. Second, ask about the need. Get underneath the fighting words by asking something like, what are you afraid will happen if this goes wrong? This helps you find the human, not just their argument. And third, my favorite, try using the word perhaps. It's like a magic word. It turns a solid wall of certainty into a doorway of possibility.
Now this next tool, this is a total game changer. It's a mindset shift inspired by the amazing justice advocate Bryan Stevenson. It's about the difference between guilt and responsibility. See, when we mess up, our default is usually guilt, which makes it all about us. Oh no, I'm a bad person. How do I stop feeling so awful? But responsibility flips the camera around. It keeps the focus on the other person and asks the much more useful question. Okay, What is needed right now to help repair this?
So this brings us to the final and maybe the most important idea of all. It's about what we're really striving for when we do this difficult, messy work of trying to truly communicate with each other.
Let this one sink in for a second, because it is so liberating. Understanding is not the same as agreeing. You can pour every ounce of your energy into truly, deeply understanding someone's perspective, their fears, their history, their hopes, and still, at the end of the day, not agree with their conclusion. Just knowing that frees you up to listen with so much more generosity.
And in that same vein, having compassion for someone doesn't mean you have to surrender. It doesn't mean you have to just roll over and accept harmful behavior. You can be kind, you can refuse to hate, and you can still hold incredibly firm boundaries. It's about having both a soft heart and a strong backbone.
And this really gets to the heart of it all. In a world that feels like it's constantly trying to pull us apart, the goal can't just be about winning arguments or proving the other side wrong. The only way we actually rise is by refusing to let one another go, by holding on to our shared humanity, even and especially when it's really, really hard. So the question this leaves us with is this: in our next difficult conversation, how will we choose to hold on?